Hey everyone, it's Types, and today I'm talking about GLC again. GLC is a pretty interesting format, and pretty much the rules of the format are, as you can see, only one of every single card other than basic energies. Only one type, so we'll be taking a look at the four most played types, and also no rule box Pokemon, or there's a few add-ons to that as well. You can't play A-Specs, you can't play I mean, there aren't rule box trainers officially. I don't think that's a term. So, but you can't play Prism Star trainers, Ace Backs, things like that, and no EXs, Vs, GXs, things like that. But you have a lot of really interesting Pokemon in the format, and we're gonna take a look at Water first, which is a really, really good type with a lot of really good cards. And I'm just gonna take a look at mostly the new cards. I'll talk about the cards in the deck, but first of all, we have the engines, Inteleon and Drizzile. I covered them actually recently in a Charizard DX Expanded video, which was a pretty fun deck to play. But on a evolution, you get to search for Pokemon, or sorry, you get to search for trainers, which can allow you to search for Pokemon or energies as well. But it's really interesting and really powerful, a really good engine, but it's only on play. So you do have cards like Scoop Up Net, and just Scoop Up Net to allow you to reuse Inteleon, and it can attack as well. And then you have Octillery, draw till 5 cards in hand, really solid. And then we have some really interesting attackers. First of all, we do have Starmie and Baxcalibur to Baxcalibur accelerates energy. Starmie here recovers energy. But we have the new Palafin. We also have Lapras and Kyogre as like attackers. But Palafin here, this isn't that new as Obsidian Flames. It's been out for a little while, but Jet Punch third to the active 30 to one on the bench, and Justice Kick. You do 210 for 2 water if you move from the bench to the active, which is a really solid attacker. And of course, you need lots of switch cards, so you see Switch Raft, Escape Rope, Scoop Up Net, Switch Floatstone, and Liza, and I think that's and Guzma as well. So you have a lot of different switching options, and when you're able to accelerate a lot of energy and recover the energy, then that also allows you to just switch around a lot and retreat a lot to use Palafin, in addition to, of course, your other attackers. So pretty cool there. Now we got another list. This is a pretty interesting water list with a lot of cards that don't see as much play. We got Inteleon though. We got Starmie as well. Starmie, you discard a bunch of energy and it's a spread attacker. Frostlass is a new card, and this is one of the. I need to open up. I want to open up that previous list again. Let's see if there are any new trainers. I don't think so. Nothing that just catches. Oh, we have Lonazade. Lonazade is a really good supporter here. Put 3 in any combination of Pokemon that don't have a rule box and basic energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. The list does also run Clara. Clara is similar. If you're familiar with Super Rod versus Ordinary Rod, it's the same thing, except there's it's the same split of cards in GLC. Lonazade does not recover rule box Pokemon, but there are no rule box Pokemon in the format. So Frostlass here, though, is a really interesting Pokemon with Freezing Shroud, which is just a really cool ability. It says during Pokemon checkup, put 1 damage counter on each Pokemon in play that has an ability, both yours and opponents, except for Frostlass itself. So you have Pokemon in your deck with abilities you're looking at, honestly a good chunk of them, but then you have Frostmoth for some energy acceleration. It's only accelerating water energies to your bench Pokemon. We also see Archie's in the Hole, a really fun card, a supporter that says you can only play this if it's the last card in your hand, but you put a water Pokemon from your discard straight into your bench and draw 5. This can be a stage 2. So you can play, Frostmoth, that's a stage 1, or Frostlass, also a stage 1, but you can play Ninja. So we got some cool options there to get an extra Pokemon in play. We have Castform, which spreads damage, and Kyurem, which also spreads damage. Alolan Vulpix is a good card, a good setup attacker. Manaphy is really great as well. Spread decks are solid. This is a spread deck, and they exist in the format. Manaphy, as well as Imbu and Mr. Mime, are in the format as well. There are some other options, but those are the main ones. But they are certainly type specific. Manaphy is the only one we'll be taking a look at in today's video, I imagine. And then we don't see any other new cards, I don't think. Buddy Puffin's not new. That was the last expansion, but it lets you search for 2 basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less. And then, yeah, the Kyurem, though, is a cool card. It doesn't see much play in GLC, as far as I'm aware. I don't follow the format a ton. This next list, though, is really cool. This is a water list with no energy acceleration at all, I don't think. And so this is pretty cool. You have a bunch of different attackers. We have Octillery, we have Inteleon again, but then we have Frostlass, a different Frostlass, though. We also have Barraskewda, Palafin, I assume Basque Legion, which recovers energy, and it's cool. But And then we have Golduck and Palafin Barraskewda here. So Frostlass here, they're all 1 energy, 1 water for stage 1, and they do around 120. Golduck says discard up to 2 water energy from your hand, and it does 60 for each water energy discarded in this way. Barraskewda does 130. You have to discard 2 though, so essentially the same, a little bit different, but very similar. Palafin does 130 for 1 water and 10 damage to itself for each damage counter on it. So if it gets hit into for 80, it'll knock itself out, but certainly 130 solid. Then Frostlass here put up to 7 damage counters on this Pokemon, and it does 20 damage to itself for each damage counter you placed in this way. Can be hitting up to 140 there for 1 water energy. And the list is not appealing outside of Scoop Up Net, but you could use that. Oh no, it does have Max Potion. Sorry, I was incorrect with that. So you have Max Potion to heal yourself, to heal your Palafin, or potentially heal your Frostlass if it survives the hit, but that's not super likely, but Max Potion pretty good there. Next up, we have the other Palafin. We looked at this one before, but this is a Rapid Strike focused list, I guess. It doesn't run Mustard, but it does run a bunch of Rapid Strike Pokemon that are water Pokemon. Starmie we mentioned earlier, which is spread. Lapras is also spread. Tapu Fini is not spread, but just an attacker, and Cloyster is also spread. So able to use the Octillery is also spread. This is an Octillery that searches for Rapid Strike Pokemon, so you have a lot of spread options, a lot of switching options, which also really work with Palafin, which has a spread-based attack, not super powerful, but it's okay, and a switch-based attack. So really cool there, being able to make really good use of Palafin, which is just really fun. And I think this is the last water list. And then we'll look at Darkness right after this. We're going to be taking a look at the top 4 types, and based on play rate on played out Limitless as well. So we have Octillery. This is pretty similar, honestly. We have Empoleon, which you can just play onto the bench if it's in the discard. Oh, no, sorry, if you have no cards in hand. You got Cramorant, pretty interesting here. You have Colorless Experiment, Lost Blender, and I think that's it for Lost Zone, but you can reuse Colorless Experiment, and then you do have that Lost Blender to allow you to get 4 cards in Lost Zone, attack with Cramorant for free. Besides Seismitoad, a really interesting card in Standard from Obsidian Flames, does 210 for, or sorry, it does 120 for 2 water, but then during your opponent's during your next turn, it does 100 more, so it can do 220 every turn after that. And then Quaking Zone, as long as this Pokemon is in the active, attacks used by your opponent's active costs 1 colorless more, which is pretty awkward to have to deal with. Looking at really most attackers, there's a lot of 1 energy attackers in the format, but even really most attackers and decks that aren't so focused on energy acceleration, it's really rough to deal with. So less energy acceleration, though we do see Aqua Patch, but still a really, really fun deck here. Next, moving on to Darkness. I think there's only 2. No, there's 3. And then we'll move on to Colorless, which is the 3rd type. The final type is Fire, which is really interesting. But Darkness here, we have Liepard, a really good card, but been in the format for a little while. A Zoroark, which can copy one of your opponent's attacks. Weavile, which does damage based on abilities, same as Flapple, which is not in format, but Lone Meow, Guzzlord, Hoopa, Spiritomb, and Yveltal, mostly cheap attackers, but we do have the Ultra Beast, I don't know if I'd say package, but you have Beast String, you have Raihan, multiple double energies for Guzzlord to take an extra prize here. And then you also have, I don't know, most of this stuff isn't that interesting in my opinion. I mean, we've seen a lot of it before. Spiritomb, really cool attacker, though, damages itself. And a few ways to support that, Frozen City and Old Cemetery. So when you attach energy, you damage yourself. And that's what also helps with that. But nothing too new going on there as far as I am seeing. And then this next list, it runs, what's this, Alolan Person? I didn't even know this card. It does 90 for free. It does 10 less damage times the amount of energy attached to your opponent's active. I've never seen this card before. That's really interesting. Apparently it has seen play in this Lycanroc GX Persian. What I'm even like looking at right now. This is so weird. This is standard, by the way. Anyway, so Alolan Persian, that's a card. Alolan Rattata. This is weird. I honestly don't really get this. Oh, so this has free retreat and has a free attack. That's kind of interesting. 40 HP. And then, yeah, I mean, this is pretty similar in idea where you're trying to set up Guzzlord, you got Spiritomb as well, and then you have the Alolan. Alolan Meowth is a pretty cool card. Spoil the fun. Turn 1 going second. You can do 70 for free, which is cool. Then lastly, we have this list, which is a poison-focused list, where we have a lot of really interesting Pokemon, including Galarian Weezing, which might be not interesting, depending how you look at it, but if it's in the active, it ability locks your opponent, not you, and then Severe Poison is quadruple poison, so it does 4 poison damage every turn. Makir and Garbodor are pretty interesting. Garbodor says if there's a stadium in play, you can just make your opponent's active Pokemon poisoned. And the list runs Dust Island and Perilous Jungle. Perilous Jungle is pretty interesting. It does not run what's the stadium name? I forget. It's the one like Perilous Jungle. It's called Viridian. No, it's called Verbank City Gym. Verbank City Gym says that you do 2 more poisoned damage counters every turn. You place 2 more damage counters on poison. And then Perilous Jungle says the same thing, except it does not affect darkness Pokemon, so it's directly better than this deck if you have to poison yourself. Well, I mean, you can't poison yourself, so generally that's better. Muck here, it says your opponent's poison Pokemon don't recover. Oh, sorry, no. Dust Island says when they switch out. I guess it's with the effect of a trainer card, so it doesn't affect if they retreat, but whenever they switch, a poisoned active would run their bench from like a Switch or a Guzma or whatever. The new active is now poisoned. Muck says Pokemon don't recover from poison when they evolve or devolve. We have this Toxapex, which I'm not. Toxapex, I'm not. Oh yeah, this one says if your opponent's active is poisoned, it's going to do 134 in darkness, which is really solid. We also see Survivor, which is pretty much the same idea, same Venoshock attack. It does 180 for 3 if your opponent's active is poisoned. And we got Zoroark to switch into other darkness Pokemon as well, which is pretty fun. We also have Dangerous Drill is one of my favorite cards. I don't know if it's one of my favorite cards ever, but it's a fun card. And you can only play this if you discard a darkness Pokemon from your hand. You discard a tool or special energy or stadium in play. This tool or special energy have to be from your opponent. Then Poison Barb says if the card sorry, if it's damaged, the Pokemon this card is attached to, then they get poisoned. We have Hypnotoxic Laser. No, I'm tired. Sorry, Hypnotoxic Laser, Koga's Trap, a bunch of poison cards, and some disruption cards as well. So pretty cool deck here. Poison's the most developed special condition, and we can see it here. Poison's pretty cool. And by the way, poison type Pokemon from the video game are either darkness type with the TCG being printed currently, or psychic type Pokemon in the PCG. They could have been grass, but not in GLC. Next up, we have Colorless, which is a really good type. There's a lot of really boring Colorless lists, so I'll start with that. I removed most of them, but this one's just the standard Colorless list. Focused around a bunch of basic Pokemon, and then Bibarel, and I guess Squirtle is part of the engine as well, but it's still a basic. Snorlax, which is powerful. Cyclizar, which you talked about in the podcast. I said it was really bad, and it was really bad in standard, but I also said it was good in GLC, which it is. Kangaskhan, Lugia, and Oranguru, which has an ability and an attack, which are both solid. Then nothing too interesting here that like hasn't been explored before. Chaos Tower, what is this? I can't even read this. Choose which way the card this card faces. So they can't be asleep or paralyzed or confused or poisoned, depending which way you play it. I guess that's so you can't put your Snorlax doesn't go to sleep, which is kind of interesting. And the list also runs therapeutic energy, so able to take good advantage of special energies. Colorless that's like the best thing it has going for it. In addition to a lot of really strong support Pokemon, Bibarel, Squirtle, Dunsparce, and Oranguru. Dunsparce stops weakness, not always played, but I saw it here, so I chose this list. Next up, though, we got Porygon-Z. I think we have 3 Porygon-Z lists. No Wait, is Archeops banned? No, Archeops isn't banned. So Porygon-Z here, you can accelerate as much special energy from your hand as you want during your turn. And we see some pretty cool ones. The best ones are so capture energy is like search for a basic. It's Nest Ball, but that's really good. But Nest Ball's a good card. We got a bunch of double energies, including counter energy. Counter energy is a double energy only if you're down. It does have a benefit, but not in these lists. Draw energy, gift energy, jet energy, warp energy. We have weakness guard energy. I think I said draw energy, recycle energy. That's really good. Therapeutic energy, which I mentioned earlier. And there's just some cool energies. But then we see that the lists run a bunch of different energies. We see Bibarel. We see Dodrio, which damages itself and draws cards. These lists are pretty similar. I'm just going to close one of these. But Porygon-Z, we got Slacking. If it's in the active, it ability locks your opponent. That card is pretty good, right? So then you have a solid attack as well. Then we also see Swellow. Swellow's a pretty interesting Pokemon. It takes an extra prize with Knockout. It does not do a ton. It does 30 for 2 or 50 for 3. You can boost this with various things, Muscle Band, Powerful Colorless Energy, and I was going to say Fighting Fairy Belt, but that is not true. You can do Professor Kukui though, and you can be doing 70 and taking an extra prize, which is obviously really good. Taking extra prize is good. We also see this Lugia in the list. 120 for 3. Normally, let's play. I feel like the other. I mean, yeah. Here's the Lugia. 20 future energy attached to both active Pokemon, not cards. So the double energies will be adding extra damage, assuming it's not double turbo. And then Deep Crush 160 for 4, but if you're looking to do 120, then this Lugia is really good. Kangaskhan's good. I mentioned that earlier. Snorlax. This other Cyclizar for your treat. Sometimes a better attack, though pretty rarely, but for your treat's nice, and its first attack sets you up. We see the Chinchino engine as well. Super Barrel and Chinchino in both lists, and we see Dodrio, which damages itself and draws cards. We also have Licky. Licky with Licks go crazy. This card is so weird, but it does 90. Discard a random card from your opponent's hand, the top card of your opponent's deck, and an energy when they're active. Just super weird, but a fun little card here. Not really new cards either in any of these lists, but still pretty cool. I think Porygon-Z is a really fun Pokemon, just in general. Last we got Fire List. We got one of my favorite Pokemon, Slugma. And then we have Salazzle, Magcargo Engine, Rapidash to increase your damage, which is a pretty cool Pokemon. Ho-Oh, Entei, which is this Entei, not the Entei that is like super absurdly. It's like really good. The same set as I think Chi-Yu. No, it wasn't, but not the Obsidian Flames Entei. But Chi-Yu here does 140 if one of your Pokemon is knocked out. It's even playable in Standard. I guess it doesn't see a lot of play, but we also have from Palliated Face, we got Hugh Rotom, 100 for 2. I also saw this in Standard, but it's not that good in Standard, but 100 for 2, 40 to yourself, pretty solid. Entei does, it's the same as Kangaskhan, essentially. I think it's exactly the same. It's pretty much the same. Just got some really fun attackers, and yeah, I mean, Fire is a really cool type. You got Magma Mason, Welder, Blacksmith, so a bunch of different forms of energy acceleration that are really good, but also it's only one copy, and so they're not like fully reliable. Unlike, I mean, there's Embor, but it's not like Cherim or anything. So this next list runs Charizard to double all your energies. We see Heatmore. This card's so cool. It is in stand. No, it's not in standard anymore. But it does 90 to the active. But if you have 6 energies on, you do 180 snipe as well, which is a lot. But you can get 3 energies on, double that to 6 with Charizard, which this card is in standard. It's a pretty cool card. Delphox is an energy ramp attacker and draw engine, but it's a stage 2. You got some spread option as well with Camerupt, Reshiram, this Reshiram or Choreo as well, and the Heatmore, which is a spread option but a little different. And then we also see Torchic. This card's really cool, and 3 technical machines as well. Torchic has 2 attacks. They are both pretty bad. Flare bonus isn't the worst, but it's not that good. But the Ancient Trait, Omega Barrage. Ancient Traits are like abilities. They're just not called abilities. They're slightly different, but I don't think they're very interesting because they're just abilities. Well, they're cool in effect, though. This is one Omega Barrage. It can just attack twice. This can attack with Technical Machines twice. So you're looking at Technical Machine Blindside and Technical Machine Crisis Punch, which both do damage. So you can do either 100 Snipe to damage Pokemon twice, or you could do Crisis Punch twice, which is 280, which is pretty insane. And you can also use Technical Machine Evolution twice. That's actually pretty cool. You can Technical Machine Evolution twice and then evolve into a stage 2 like really quickly. So that's a pretty cool card, and you have Eco Arm to recover them as well as Lana's Fishing Rod. So some really fun ideas here. And this last list is what Team Magma's Camerupt. What is this card? Once during your turn, you may attach a fighting or fire energy from your Disco Pal to this Pokemon. That's not what I was expecting, to be honest. Cinderace removes energy from the discard to it, or accelerates to it when it switches in. Sorry, what's the purpose of Team Magma's Camerupt here? And you can move a basic energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. This card doesn't seem good. Does it do something that I'm not like aware of? I don't know. Maybe it's like kind of. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, it plays Arm Rouge. That makes sense. There we go. So you do accelerate to yourself with Team Magma's Camerupt. Then you move the damage with Arm Rouge around to your active, and then you have Magma Basin as well, and Welder and Blacksmith. So you can use Arm Rouge to move the energy around, Cinderace to move the energy around, I guess, and you can just do big damage with a bunch of different attackers. Also, Oricorio accelerates. Yeah, I mean, just some really cool Pokemon. Volcanion also accelerates. really cool stuff here. Oh, Shiyu also accelerates. So a really fun list here. This one's like cool. Overall, new cars aren't being played too much. If we go to, I'm going to do a part 2 though. I'm going to do one with the Rogue decks as well. I wanted to talk about the meta though. So I hope you enjoyed. Consider liking, subscribing, hitting the bell, all the good stuff. And as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.